may not use all of this, but it's there. Okay, and I'm gonna come back and show you what we can do with all of this. Okay, any questions on using issues and controversies? Because this is one we definitely know you can use. It is updated. Look at this. Look at this. January the 25th. How updated can it get? That's today. When I looked at it before, I think it was January the 20th. So they must have just updated this. They just updated it. So this is a great article. There's great information here. Did anybody not find anything? If so, put no in issues and controversies. Because we really want you to use this resource. It's very good. That's good. Okay, I like that. Okay, so now we're going to go back to I've covered issues and controversies, exploring issues, opposing viewpoints, Gale ebooks, global issues, and also academic 1.5. That's a lot. Okay, so now we're going to go to one database called, and we're going to go back to Macavia. And you all use this one. Dummy. You all used this one before, and I want to go back to products. I thought okay, not products, with Macavia. Okay, now we're back at Macavia. And this time, we're going to go to JSTOR. This is our huge academic database. Okay, now it has lots of stuff in here, lots of stuff. But to get there, we still don't have a Google login. District, not our fault. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a username and password, and it's on the sheet. It's BRMHS lowercase, and your password is library, and we should be in. Now, make sure you log in this way because if you try to log in with Google, you're only gonna have 10 hits, and they're not gonna let you back in. So make sure that you just go ahead and do your um, username and password for this one. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is go to tools and set up a workspace because what it allows you to do, it allows you to search and you can keep your things in here for 2 days. Like today and tomorrow, you can go ahead and search and see can you find information and then just go ahead. If you don't have time today to put it on your Google Drive, you can just put it in your folder and come back and download that folder and fold it into your Google Drive. So you would go here and create a folder. Yours would probably look a little different because I already had a folder created. You can create a folder, and I would name mine coronavirus. And I would just create that folder. And I can just keep adding to my folder. And after 2 days, I can go ahead and remove it. But I can tell you, they're going to automatically remove it because I had work in here from the from last week, and they removed it. So it will keep your things in here for at least a couple of days. Okay. All right. Now let's go to JSTOR. If you go to JSTOR and search, you might come. I'm going to do coronavirus. You do yours and see how much comes up. 4,167 articles on the coronavirus. I should have put. I wanted to put COVID-19. They had a lot of coronaviruses. Let's see what comes up. Okay. Now I can. I'm not. I don't have time for this to search 2,778 articles, but I can do a bullet. Use the boolean operators, and I can search, and they are using words like and, or, and not. And I'm going to put in now COVID 19, and I'm going to put vaccine, and I'm going to put, I could break this down to one vaccine, the Moderna. I could put that, but I'm not. I'm just going to see what comes here. I'm down to 245. And I can put, I could still break it down if I want to. But I just wanted to show you how you can do this. I could put not, I could put Moderna, not Pfizer. I could just break it down because I want to show that the effectiveness of the Moderna, that it's the better vaccine to use than the Pfizer. However, I want to word that. Okay. right, now, what this gives me though, is a lot of information. I still could narrow it down. I could say, I don't want chapters and books and all that. I just want journals. I could just put a check here, but I'm not going to do that. I could say I just want the current stuff from 2020 to 2021. Let's see what it'll do if I revise that search a little bit. Let's see what it'll do. It just brought it down to 239. Not much, not too much. Okay, but you can always narrow your search down to what you want. But right now, though, I would just go ahead and put in. Um, I would leave this publication date alone because unless Miss Willis tells you, some of you might have topics that you have to go further back. But sometimes you can just go 2 4 years. That's fine enough. That's fine. Okay, one thing I like about it that they did this time also is that they tell you what it is. Before, you would have to go look. Remember last year you had to try to find out, what is this? Is this a magazine? Is this a book? Or what is it? But now you know that it's a journal article. So for your citation, you know exactly what it is. So I would type on COVID-19 in detention. And once I do this, remember I can save it. And my workspace is already there. So it's already saved to my workspace. I put it in. I could save this article. Okay, now it's in my workspace. All right. Okay, I can view it. Here's that same article now in my coronavirus workspace. I don't have to go back. Now, once I found all my articles, I can put them right here in my workspace and click on it.
And Ms. Brackens, I see another option is to share. Can they share it with their email? Is that
They can share it with their email too if they want to.
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
Okay, cool.
They can. My thing about saving it to my workspace would be that I could just save that whole folder and be done with it, rather than having to deal with emails, attaching emails. So, all right. Now, one thing you can do also, if you look on the side, you can cite this item. I like this because MLA is my default. All right. And if you look at the bottom, I have choices again. And the one that we use here is Noodle Tools. So I can export to Noodle Tools. When I click on export to Noodle Tools, here it is, the same way. Here's Miss Willis 6th hour. Import my reference. I see it successfully exported. I found the right one. Here it is. I'm going to go ahead and refresh. And here's my JSTOR. It's there. Now, one thing, Ms. Willis, and I don't know if you want that, but with JSTOR, they give you the DOI in the citation. But since we're doing the live web page, I think it's probably best we just leave it like that. I think it's
That's
best.
fine. Just however, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be better.
Simplify.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Okay. All right. So we have all of these resources in here. And I have one more I want to show you. And after I show you that, we're going to show you what you can do actually in here. And then Dr. Awell going to show you how to do a note card, how to make some note cards from all of this that we're talking about. So now we're going to go back to McInVIA. Now, this is where we're going to go. And a lot of you are going to find a lot of stuff in here. Some of you will definitely with your ebooks. Remember I told you there's a difference between Gale and McInVIA ebooks. These are the latest ebooks. This is where we buy all our ebooks from now. You're not going to find as many in Gale, but you will find a lot here, especially for this type of research paper. So I don't know if I have anything. This is so new, and I didn't place an order for this, but I do have it. And it is a multi-user book. That means that everybody can use this same book at the same time. It wouldn't matter. But there's a lot you can do with this. So here is one ebook, Global Pandemics. I'm writing on that. Here it is. Okay, now I can open my book. Now, once I open my book, I will go to, now you see these are the highlighted words. They highlight every word because I put coronavirus every time the word coronavirus pops up in the book, it's highlighted. But I can go back to my menu because I am in now. And remember I told you you had a book bag back in Dia? I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so now I'm into the table of contents of my book. And I want to put something on I'm going to use chapter 4, pandemic responses. All right, now, I think I like this paragraph. So I'm going to highlight this paragraph, okay? All right, I'm going to go through this book. I think I'm just highlighting. I'm going to show you something. Okay. Now, I've highlighted in this book. I think I'm going back to my menu, okay? I need to close this book. Okay? I'm going to go to my book bag. And then I'm going to go to my notebook. And all this should be in, you remember what I highlighted? And Ms. Willis has a sheet on this. Then I'm going to export these notes to my Google Drive. Now, this is how you would find the information that all you're doing now. You don't have to, if you want to go to your highlighted notes and all that, you can go to them. It's easy to do. If you want to just go ahead and print, you can just click, rather than saving it to your drive, you can go ahead and print these notes. It's up to you. But the best thing to do would be to go to your bag, because as you are highlighting and taking notes, it's all going into your notebook, because you have your backpack right here that house all your notes, everything that you're doing. Any questions on that? Then once I have finished my book bag, please do this. Always go, because other people will use that book. You can go and you can delete. I'm supposed to be able to delete. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I'm supposed to be able to delete this. I can put notes here and color code the notes. But once I get down to the book that I did, I can go ahead and get rid of all of this that I had in my book bag. I can remove it so that nobody else will have all my notes. You have to go in and delete. Miss Willis, I gave you a sheet that tells them how to do that. It's very simple, because all they have to do is go in their book bag and they can go ahead and take notes, and all those notes will be in their backpack. You know, it used to be where they would just print and they start printing the whole book, so they came up with a simple way for them to do it now. Rather than trying to print a whole book, you take notes. Now, if they want to go and print all this, they're welcome to do it. But that's how you do it in an ebook. Anybody have a question on that?
I think we're good on that. Yeah.
They will when they start working on it. They probably will have questions.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah, and just let us know. And the handout should explain it to them. If not, just send us an email and we'll show them how to do it. Or one day you could ask us, would you come in and just show them how to do that? We'll be glad to do that for them.
Thanks. And this is under the document called highlighting and note cards.
Right? Highlighting and note taking, yes.
Cool.
We tried to make it as easy as we possibly could. Okay, now one more thing, and then Dr. Awell is going to take over. I want you to go back to your Noodle Tools account. Now, you have lots of options here. Once you have this page set up, and she's going to show you how your works cited page looks. Okay, so remember, if I am writing my paper and I quote something or I paraphrase something from this book, remember, I can go in Noodle Tools to in-text citation, and it will tell me how to cite that in my paper. All
guys, y'all will be doing this for every single reference that you make to another source. So your research paper is going to be full of citations.
Yep.
So see where Ms. Brackens is pointing? It says the end of your sentence when you give a direct quote, or most of your paper is not going to be direct quotes. It's going to be paraphrasing,
right? And
that's what it's going to look like.
So please remember, you don't kill yourself trying to find out how do I cite this in my paper. All you do is go to that source, scroll down to in-text citation, and it will tell you the end of your sentence, and what you need, and you just type that little page number. If you have a page, you type it in, and they tell you end of your sentence. This is what should be there.
And if you don't have a page number, which for some of these you won't, because if it's not an ebook, if it's just an article, you don't do the page number.
No.
So you just get rid of that little spot that says page number in the brackets. So it'll just have the title in quotation marks or the author's last name, and that's all it's going to have.
Yeah, you delete this. Yep. All right. Any questions on anything? Okay, Dr. Awell is going to go over with you. We're going to take you in another direction now. We've given you all the sources. Let me close down.
Well, wait, Ms. Brackens, if you don't mind, can you just real quick hit that print and export button to show them how this is great.
She's going to show it to them. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you all understand that we have got plenty of resources. I'm going to say gobs. We have plenty of resources that you could use for this paper. If you can't find something, please email us. Let us know you can't find anything. We're not going to do your paper for you, but we will help you find some resources. Because we said that to another class, and I tell you, it seemed like we was getting ready to do the paper. We had to stop it. But let us know if you can't find anything. Because some of you, you may have chosen some topics that, you need more information on. Okay, Ms. Willis? Dr. Awell's put our email in there. Please get in touch with us because we want to help you all. This is a different year, a different type of research paper, and we want to be there for you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Dr. Awell.
Okay, so we're going to show you one more.
Dr. Awell, you're muted.
Your note cards. So we're going to show you one more tool for today, and that is your note cards. So you will start on an annotated bibliography at some point. Y'all aren't doing annotated bibs. Okay. Brain in another class. All right, so you guys have note cards. So this is what's really, okay, so this is like super important now. So note cards are basically a way for you to be able to disseminate and as one of my old professors would say, mine for the richest of data and information from your sources. What note cards allow you to do is to be able to put down certain phrases, statements, direct quotes, information from a specific source, and then you relate it back to your text. And as well as what is the word that you use for them there for that my thoughts section?
Argumentative commentary.
Okay.
So when Dr. Awell shows you all the parts of the note card, I will jump in with what we do in this class, which is basically there's three parts on the note card. There's the direct quote that you're pulling from or the passage on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, you're going to do two things. You're going to paraphrase the meaning in your own words, and then you're going to also give argumentative commentary, which is the E and the S of axes that we're used to doing, which means you're going to argue with the source, either against it, like you're going to refute, or you're going to explain as well as part of it. And then this is also where you're going to touch back to your thesis in the original commentary part, because you're creating that line of reasoning. So you're thinking about how to tie this piece of evidence back to your thesis. So you might be explaining what this piece of evidence shows and how it proves your thesis, that kind of thing. But ultimately, this is note-taking. So think in bullet points, right? You're not writing your paper yet at this point. Okay. Go ahead, Dr. Awell. I don't want to take too much time.
Oh, no, you're good to go. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, so before we physically used to do note cards when Ms. Willis was in school and when I was in school, Ms. Brackens were in school, we would physically write this down on our note card. So it's still asking for the same amount of essential information that was required when we were in school. It's just digital. That's legitimately the only difference. So I'm going to give my note card a title, and just for case intents and purposes, just for knowledge, my topic is basically the idea that school dress codes and uniforms are oppressive to, on the basis of sex and class, and also, in gender. So, and that's the stance I'm taking, right? So think of that in my thesis, in the sense of my thesis. So, I have this article that I have pulled, and yes, it's kind of long, y'all. So I would try to make good time here. So I'm into the section about intersectionality. This is a key word that actually exists in my research, right? So I'm going to give my note card a name, something that is familiar to me. It can be general, but definitely, something to help me remember the pertinence of this particular note card. So I'll just talk about, I'll just talk about intersectionality. That's a thing. Okay, and I'll call that 1. So I'm going to choose my source. So in other words, I'm pulling the direct quote from this source itself. So since this is the source I'm using for the example, I'm going to pick this. And when you finish putting in all of your sources, you will have an entire drop-down list of all of your sources. So just take some care to make sure you select the right one. I've done the wrong one before, just on accident. It does happen. So, and it's easy to edit and fix. It's not a problem. It's just kind of giving you a heads up to it. All right, so let me go ahead and pick up a direct quote. So I'm going to pick up this quote right here because this is great. This is perfect. Yep, I like this quote. And legit, y'all, I'm doing research with y'all. So like, I'm feeling this right now for an article. Okay, so I picked up this quote about intersectionality, the fact that the body is a representation of intersections. Now I need to move on to tags. So if you think about tags, y'all like TikTok and Snapchat and all that. And so y'all tag yourselves doing all the latest dance trends and stuff, right? So whenever you do that, what you basically are saying is group me in the bigger general group of people who are all doing whatever this hashtag says. So like the Renaissance Picture Challenge, you tag it that hashtag Renaissance Picture Challenge. You're telling the internet, put me in the group of all these other people who are doing that. And that's exactly what a note card tag does, right? So it allows you to group and organize based on topic or whatever similarity your note card shares. So I am going to go ahead and just title this intersections, just for the sake of, argument and example today. And if I had a URL, which I do, and I actually need to go pull this from somewhere else, I would put my URL here. I do have page numbers though, and that is helpful. I got this particular direct quote from page 103. So 103. So we still have page numbers on note cards because remember when note cards was like a thing that became, when it became a thing, we were still dealing with books. I know that might seem foreign to y'all that we did not have the internet for everything, but that was totally a thing even when I was in school. So just heads up. But also when you're dealing with ebooks now that we've evolved to ebooks, it's a really good idea to put your page number down so that way you can go directly to that page on that ebook. So, it still has relevance today. All right, so now I need to paraphrase my direct quote, right? So some judgment, and again, just something quick. Based on intersections can be dangerous. Stereotypical. Camry wants to know if they need to tag their note cards, Ms. Willis. I'll defer that one to you.
I was going to ask you, Dr. Will, what the difference between a title and a tag really does.
It depending on how you name it can be different. I would find the tags more important than say the title, because tags help to organize them. Like you could just make the title number 1 even, but the tag will put them together.
My idea is that I'm going to show you all the different sections of your paper that you need. So like one section is going to be like background information. So then you would just tag that note card as for your background. So you could think about the paragraphs in your paper or the sections of your paper is going to be your tag. And I'll show you all what those sections are later.
So yeah, that's a very good question because I didn't quite know how we wanted to organize that. Okay, so I just made a very quick, very loose paraphrase of this particular quote. So in the my idea section, like Ms. Willis was explaining earlier, this is the part where I'm interacting with the text. So this is where I can take a moment to disagree. This is a moment where I can agree. This is where I can make ties back to my thesis. So basically, remember I was saying that my thesis is essentially that yes, dress codes, are inherently, can be classist, sexist, racial and, homophobic in nature, right? So that's the side I'm taking hypothetically in this paper. So this is where I take the time to interact with this. Now, I liked bulleted lists, but Ms. Willis did make a point to mention that, you could just do regular complete sentences here. It doesn't have to be beautiful like your paper would be, but you do want some kind of complete thought process so you don't forget where you were going with something, right? So I'll use a bulleted list for the sake of my organization because it's easier on my eyes, but I'll use complete sentences. So for instance, I could say the quote, just something as a note taking for me, agrees with my argument. I can also say something just real quick like, maybe I need to interact with this. So how or what are some examples where intersectionality is shown through the body, right? And I can kind of continue this particular thought process and ask questions and kind of agree or disagree or interact, right? So once I'm done with that, and of course I would need more if I were doing an actual note card, I need a lot more in this section. So, but time. So I'm going to save and close mine. So earlier I was reading this article, kind of interacting with the text and kind of seeing what stance the author is making. But I did make one earlier, and this one was like dress codes in school. So this one's more about intersectionality, even though I was on the same page. So you can color code your note cards. I color coded this one blue because it was a part of my main argument. This is kind of a part of my main argument, so I could actually color code this blue as well, and it would make sense because of the stance that I've hypothetically taken, right? I could color code as something else though, if necessary, if I just see fit. But you actually can change the colors of your note cards. I'm actually going to keep that one blue. Okay, so also they have things called cues, which basically is like, oh, this is incomplete, or maybe I need to look into this more important. I don't personally use them, but they could be useful for you. Okay, so earlier I made a pile already. I do want to show you how to make a pile. So when we were doing note cards physically, we were able to pile our note cards based sometimes on the tag, well, what we call the tags now, right? Or theme or points back in the day. We can make a stack. So I would like, oh, this is my main argument. That's my counter argument. I'd be like, oh, okay, this should probably go in the literature review. And you could do it that way, right? And that could be based on your tags. Another way I've seen it done is that I did have a student in the past, though this could get confusing, but it worked for her, where she had her piles based on her paragraphs. So it's like paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she knew what each paragraph was going to be about, and she piled them in that manner. So I will go to manage pile, and I could add the note cards I have right now to an existing pile, or I can create a new one. And I will, just for the sake of today, intersections, and this would be like general, because I probably want to go more into intersections of certain class and race. Nah, think about that in the future. But anyway, I can definitely make piles based on what I want to attack in this paper. So I have these 2 piles. If I ever want to add a note card to a pile, all I have to do is drag and drop it over the pile. And I kind of like that because it makes it a little bit more tactile. And of course, I learned this in a tactile manner. I physically had these things in front of me, and you don't have that. But it's kind of nice to have that ability to do that. I can always double click and expand my piles to see what is in there. I'm deciding, hey, that note card that I just stuck in this section, maybe it needs to be over here, and I can do that. I can take it out of one pile and put it into another, just like I would if I physically had note cards in front of me. So your note card's a really good tool to help you start delineating and really interacting a lot more with your writings. When you start making your annotations first and kind of like your highlights and whatever may have you, that's kind of like your first round, and this is like the next level. And it also helps a lot in your pre-writing, because when you're writing your paper, when you're drafting it, you can always go back to your note cards and pull those direct quotes, or you can pull those paraphrasings and put it into your paper, and that kind of helps to streamline the writing process. So while this may seem a little superfluous right now, I can just say from personal experience, just having done this and been very stubborn about stuff like this, that this is helpful. So obviously I'm not anymore stubborn about it, but I was at a time.